tracking at the moment. In the latest escalation of cross-border hostilities between the volatile neighbors Afghanistan and Pakistan, Afghanistan's Taliban authorities said that they have launched attacks against Pakistan's military positions along the border in response to a Pakistani airstrikes last week. Now, the latest coming from this conflict is that Afghanistan claims that F-16 has been shot down. Unverified video shows wreckage of Pak's F-16. Video of burning F-16 wreckage goes viral. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. Afghan media has claimed that Pakistan's F-16 has been shot down. Afghanistan claims F-16 downed after airstrikes that was engaged in Kabul. Pakistani Air Force had launched airstrikes against targets in Kabul as a retaliatory measure against raids by Afghan Taliban fighters on Pak posts in Durand area. And here we can find that Afghanistan has claimed, and this is from the media reports in Afghanistan, that an F-16 has been shot down. Unverified video shows wreckage of Pak's F-16 in Afghanistan. These are the visuals that have come in of the F-16 that has been allegedly shot down, and which the Afghanistan media claims it has, in fact, its forces on the ground have been able to shoot it down. This visual, in fact, shows the rear end of the F-16 as it's been claimed by the Afghan media. This is the story that we are tracking at the moment, with the flag of Pakistan seen on the tail end, and also the identification number of the aircraft also on the tail. This is something that the Pakistani military is yet to confirm whether they have lost an aircraft, and Afghanistan claiming that it's an F-16 that they have shot down when Pakistani Air Force carried out with military action. Meanwhile, Pakistan has carried out airstrikes in Kabul and two other Afghan provinces hours after Afghanistan launched the cross-border attack on Pakistan. At least 3 explosions were heard in Kabul, and there was no immediate information on the exact location of the strikes in the Afghan capital, but ammunition dumps are what is being targeted by the PAF. The operation has been called as Ghazab, lil-Haq, and it also claimed that the Pakistani army has completely destroyed 27 posts of the Afghan Taliban and has captured at least 5 of them. This escalation happens along the Durand line, where Afghanistan has claimed that 19 posts have been captured by them from Pakistani soldiers. 55 Pakistani soldiers have been killed is what Afghanistan claims, while Pakistan has claimed that 133 Taliban fighters have been killed. We are in fact joined in by Major General Sudhakarji, a retired defense and strategy expert. Major General, flaring of the Durand line, old border dispute that has been there between Pakistan and Afghanistan, flaring up to the point that once allies have turned bitter enemies.
Yeah, morning, Varghese. Thank you for inviting me for your show. We need to understand there is a deep-rooted lack of trust between Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's not of yesterday. It has been carrying on as a legacy point for quite some time. It has to be understood that Tehrik Taliban Pakistan is the creation of Pakistan itself. The Taliban Afghanistan, also to large an extent, is also an extension of the Tehrik Taliban Pakistan, or vice versa. So when you say this, with October 2025, after a great deal of effort, some kind of a ceasefire came into existence, although it has been violated a number of times. More often than not, whenever Pakistan came under intense pressure of Tehrik Taliban Pakistan and Baloch Liberation Army, they always, without fail, they have been attributing the blame to either India or towards Afghanistan. So whenever you would find in a couple of days or couple of hours time, the line of control with India would become active, and they are getting back nice and properly from Indian Army, because the Indian Army has been given a free hand to retaliate. So now, having failed to successfully have the writ on Indian Army or across the line of control, they are now trying their stunt across the border. Air violation is a clear declaration of war. Whenever the air violation takes place in the neighboring country, there is nothing more to wait and convince or justify. They have crossed the border. They have carried out attack at Kabul, Kandahar, and now this escalation which we are witnessing is an extension. It is not going to end because the Afghans have had enough. They have lost lots of civilians, and this time many brigade headquarters, battalion headquarters, logistic bases of Taliban army has been destroyed. The targets are being given by some unknown forces, maybe some multiple agencies in the world, maybe the Chinese, because the complete Pakistan army, they are taking advantage of being in the Baidu network. Baidu is the satellite system overlapping, interconnected, integrated of China. They have a optical fiber connecting between Chengdu and which is display Rawalpindi. It was completed in December 2021. The Baidu satellite network, which is actually looking at the entire swath of Indo-Pacific corridor from west coast of America till east coast of Africa, is providing them very very accurate intelligence, and this intelligence data is also is being made use of by the Pakistani Air Force and other elements. Second point is also there is a kill chain. The kill chain is actually giving the advantage to Pakistan Air Force, wherein after the projectile or the missile is launched by the Air Force, they switch off the transponder, making it difficult for the defender, that is Taliban, to actually knock down the aircraft. So this is second thing. Third thing is, beyond visual range attack. I don't think they are using this particular concept or doctrine beyond visual range. They are flying, crossing the border. They're going well into the depth of Afghanistan and carrying out airstrike against the
But
military.
that is one advantage that Pakistan has, isn't it, Major General? Because they have a full-fledged air force, while the Afghans don't have an air force, and they have been reliant on their boots on the ground. So clearly, that advantage has been for Pakistan, and therefore they're using it completely.
Absolutely. I totally bang on, spot on. You made a point. Afghanistan, Taliban does not have air force, but be mindful of the fact Afghanistan historically and traditionally is called as graveyard of empire. Whoever has tried to invade and bring wrath or destruction to Afghanistan has finally paid a very heavy price. So this heavy price is going to manifest in a very serious manner this time, because open war has been declared by Pakistan against the Afghanistan Taliban. They have been time and again telling Pakistan that the Tehrik Taliban Pakistan do not have any bases, but Duran line being Duran line, they had uprooted the fencing to quite an extent, although they claim that since the ceasefire is in force from October 2025, both the gates, that is the gate along the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and the gate along the opposite Balochistan, both have been closed. I don't think so. Even if the gates are closed, the fencing can be actually, transgressed or can be negotiated. And the people are coming in and going out still. And at one point in time, they had 256 crossings. It was brought down to 16. And from 16, there are two major gates onto either side. So it is very difficult when you have Pashtuns on either side to stop their inter-border or trans-border movements that is taking place. But the core issue is that there is a lack of trust, and Pakistan, in order to divert and distract the attention of the public, they are carrying out this activity. The central point, if I may say, Varghese, is that it has got nothing to do with all this. There is a disunity in Pakistan army. They have formed groups and subgroups against Munir. Munir, after having brought in the Constitutional Amendment 27 and taken all, assumed all the power, including the nuclear button under his finger, changed, created a constitutional kind of a federal court, which is parallel. It is usurping the authority of the Supreme Court, marginalized the Supreme Court. There is no media, there is no military, the hierarchy. They are totally disgruntled because the promotion of people is getting stagnated at the level of brigadier and major general. They are not going beyond that because Bajwa had an extended tenure as a chief. So Munir has till eternity his field marshal, and he's got the protection immunity against his impeachment or any kind of accountability problem. So under these circumstances, there is a huge disgruntlement and lack of motivation amongst the Pakistan army. People are not willing to face the terrorists. They don't want to go to the front line. There are large number of desertion cases. They are not getting their salary. And the logistics supply chain, if you talk about oil, petrol, diesel, grease, mobile, supply of ration, these are getting intercepted and hit by Taliban at multiple points, both by Baloch Liberation Army and the conglomerate. They enjoy the Majid Brigade and all, and the Tehrik-Taliban Pakistan. So under these circumstances, the ding-dong battle is going to carry on. The Taliban may appear to be on a back foot at the moment, but sooner or later, they have a game of asymmetry in the hybrid warfare. Don't assume that Afghanistan is going to take the defeat or the this beating
See,
very kindly.
that is
They
one
will
one that crucial point that you've raised over here, because we are looking at people who have been trained by the Pakistani army itself. So the tactics, the way they think, is well known to the Taliban.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It is known to the Taliban because the training centers who are there in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in some of the seminaries in Pashtunistan, the training schedule and the module is well known to both the sides. But the fact is not that. It is only the air power because of which the Afghan Taliban will take a back foot. But for the timing, more than that, they have artillery. They have got almost close to 200 the 40 equivalent regiments of armor. 40 equivalent regiments comes to each regiment has got 45 tanks. These are the tanks which are left by the American. They have got 3 lakh pieces of weapons and artillery and vehicles. And they have got a large number of state of the art equipment. They have a special force. They have an army which was operational against the Americans when they were there. So they have a huge amount of, let's not underestimate the capability. And they are very good in small team concept, hybrid warfare, asymmetric warfare. They will never go in for conventional attack against the Pakistani. They will go in for very surgical, selected, targeted, killings or addressing the targets of Pakistan, like the way they have captured some of the posts along the Duran line. They have destroyed many of them. Pakistani soldiers have been seen actually running away, leaving their weapons and other things. Pakistan has got an advantage of going into the depth of Afghanistan and striking the rear echelon logistic bases and the headquarters, which may actually make Afghanistan Taliban recoil for the time being, consolidate, reorganize, regroup, and thereafter, perhaps in my assessment, they will break up into small teams and infiltrate across the Duran line, join Tehrik Taliban Pakistan in times ahead, and make merry hell of Pakistan army. We are waiting for a disastrous and potentially very dangerous kind of escalation, which may take place firstly towards Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and secondly towards Balochi Liberation Army side of the Balochistan. This will put Pakistan into a dangerous status, and they will do good to sit back, recoil, introspect, and carry out a thought through kind of a strategy, counter strategy to calm down. Otherwise, it is Pakistan which is actually destined to pay a very heavy price, because nobody who has fought against Afghanistan till date has ever come back scot free. They will pay a very heavy price sooner or
Right.
later. Back to you.
One last question that I have for you is this: that when the Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan, one of the helicopter gunships was the main problem that was faced by the Mujahideen there, and also the Taliban, the splinter groups as well. They used the Stinger missiles. They had Stinger missiles to bring them down. In your assessment, do the Taliban actually possess some kind of weapon like that that could take on the Pakistani Air Force?
I had the data. I used to give lectures on this to PhD students in IITs and all.
Hmm.
Yes, they do have. I would have given out my diary is not here. I'll
Oh, no
give it.
problem.
They have. The specifically speaking Stinger missile, they may or may not have, but they have anti-aircraft guns which were left behind by the Americans, and they definitely have got something akin to Stinger missile. And maybe don't be surprised with the Javelin.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Hmm.
because they left when 2021 Americans had the state of the art equipment. They have left 300,000 pieces of weapons, vehicles, tanks, BMPs, state of the art equipment, sniper rifles, PNVDs, that is night vision devices. They have got encrypted communication platforms. Incidentally, Varghese, let me tell you, they left 200 or more number of aircrafts. Unfortunately, these aircrafts are not operational. There are 40 or 50 of them functional. They were in the stage of training the pilots also, Taliban. Let's not be surprised. But it's about time that China is expected to come in a big way, because China also has got economic interests of its BRI going through Afghanistan. They have signed a contract in 2008 with Taliban. This is about Aini copper mine. Aini copper mine is one of the largest copper mines in the world with high grade quality of copper. And across that Aini, a couple of kilometers, 150 or 180 kilometers away, is the Turkmenistan gas reserve. It is the fourth largest reservoir of gas, liquid natural gas. China has been wanting to develop a BRI national highway right out to the gas belt and lay a pipeline and touching the Aini, thereafter to Peshawar, and from Peshawar coming up to the CPEC, and from CPEC across Kunjarab Pass to Kashgar. That is the outline plan for which China has already started carrying out the survey. If that fails, then they have the Walken corridor, along with the survey is already over, the blueprint is over. Come what may, China is going to push in and come in a big way. Most probably, this particular escalation which is taking place may come to a calm end by timely intervention of China, because China has got more things to gain economically than any other country. But there is a strategic rivalry we should not lose sight of. America
Right.
wants to give a pushback to China in a significant manner. So
Right.
you never know. Munir is on the lap of Donald Trump. He may keep getting these kind of bailouts and also supply of
Right.
armaments and spare parts. And this also may be subjected to some kind of a negotiation and ceasefire talk in times ahead. Back to you, Varghese.
Right. Thank you, Major General Sudhakarji, for in fact giving us an oversight about what is exactly happening